Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I just want to start off with talking about the ×2 Sacred Shard pull event that's going on this weekend with the times 10 chance of getting Prince Kaimar. I'm not pulling shards. The last fusion, the Pythian fusion, we needed more points in the summoning event than we have before in past fusions. So for me, I use Sacred Shards to complete those events, because you can use any shard in the Champion's Chase, which normally align with the ×2 event of each of the different shards. So I use Sacred Shards to complete these events, and they've always been, or they have been in the past majoritively, 7 Sacred Shards to get the points that you need in the summoning event. But on the Pythian fusion it was 10 Sacred Shards to meet that requirement. So I'm not pulling shards on either of my accounts this weekend. I would love a Prince Kaimar, I would love more legendaries on the account, but to get the next fusion, which I've also heard is going to be pretty good, or potentially could be a good addition to the new faction, I think it's important to be able to get that fusion and to be able to raise the points so that I can get the summoning event complete. So I will not be putting shards. I would love to, but I'm not going to. Prince Kaimar would be a huge addition to both my accounts, both my arena teams, but I just can't afford to do that with a free-to-play account. So I'm going to be saving my shards and just go from there. So in the background, guys, I've actually bought a new laptop. I had one before. I've always used a laptop. The one I had before was a bit of a potato. It had integrated graphics. It was pretty old. I got it for free off a friend when I dropped my old laptop on my kitchen floor. So I've purchased myself a new gaming laptop. It's a bit entry level. I won't go into the details of it necessarily, but it does have dedicated graphics. It's got a dedicated graphics card in it, so I can now use the Hell Hades optimizer to its sort of full potential. I did use it on my old laptop, but it was never very fast. I had to sort of set aside 3 to 4 hours if I ever wanted to build like an intricate team. But since then, I have been building up my teams. On my old laptop, I did build 2 Batman Forever teams, 1 on each account. So I'll just find my today's results. So my 2 accounts there at the top. My Kale account has now got the double Helicath, Seeker in there for the speed boost, Fane for decrease defense and weaken, and Doom Priest to make it affinity friendly. And then I basically carbon copied into my Galek account. So Helicath and Warcaster for the unkillable, Seeker for the speed boost. I got a Draco Morph in that account, so he does the same job as Fane with decreased defense and weaken, and then Doom Priest again to make it affinity friendly. I was very lucky, and I pulled some what they called Soul Stones on the day that I built my Galek account, Batman Forever, and I got a 6-star Warcaster Blessing. So yeah, that's helped massively in my team and for the team power. I was hitting just under 1 key on my Galek account on my first ever try, and then I pulled that Blessing, and it seemed to have sort of propelled me into the 1 key territory. One of the interesting things and one of the really helpful things about the Batman Forever team is that it works on Brutal Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare. So I'm currently 1 keying all of those, and then with my spare key, my 4th key for the day, I just go for whichever one still has remaining HP, and just make sure that my clan beats it for the day. So then I just get maximum results. 2 of the top ×2 top chest of each of those 3. Hopefully I can start seeing some more shards coming in and some more rewards, so I can then pull them in the future. And I've also been on my other account. I've just been working on a couple of other teams. I've set up a team. I'll tell you what, guys. I'll log into my other account and we can have a look at the team that I built. So what I've done, guys, is with my my newfound speed and my new laptop, I've loaded the optimizer on both my accounts and gone through all of my teams. I've unlocked all champions on each account, and then gone through all the teams that I use to lock all of the champs that I use in those teams. So then I can optimize the gear that I've put on champions and then stopped using them and stuff like that. So I have been able to build quite a strong Iron Twins stage 15 team. So I utilize Geo's passive. So I've now rebuilt Geo because I'm not using him in any of my other teams that depend on his stats. So not my clan boss team essentially. So I've now got a Geo with 560 accuracy, and he's going at 219 speed. Basically, for the Iron Twins, if you've got a Geo that can land his burn and then survive the rest of the Iron Twin, the boss's turns, the boss kills itself, essentially. So I've put Geo in there, I've rebuilt Stag Knight to have more survivability. He's got 326 accuracy. I don't think the accuracy is generally for the decreased speed on his A1, not necessarily for his decreased defense. The accuracy probably isn't as high as it should be, but at the same time we need the boss of the Iron Twins to take turns to do the damage from Geo. So he's in there mostly just for that decreased speed where needed, so I can recoup my health on my champs in between. So yeah, I've got Geo, Stag Knight, and for the first team that I've used her, I've got Mithrala in there. So I've built Mithrala. She has got accuracy, but I don't think it's necessary for the Iron Twins boss. She's at 233 speed, and I built her for survivability. You can see she's got quite high HP and quite high defense. And the last champion, how many champions is that? That's only 5. So I've got Wither in there, again, built just for survivability, built with a bit of speed at 235. But those two are generally keeping the team alive. And there is another champion in there, but I can't remember the champ, and I've used all my keys for that day. I'll just go in and see if we can have a look. No, we can't have a look. I don't want to purchase it. I don't want to use any of my gems. I'm saving them for the fusion. I did get quite low on the last fusion event, so but I was determined to get Pythium, especially on this account where I got 3 in the end, which was absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, I don't want to use any gems for the time being. I do use gems to refill the energy each day for Iron Twins if I don't have enough, but I don't want to use it to buy more keys. I'm just happy using the resources that we get every day. So apart from that, guys, I've also used the optimizer to start trying to conquer faction wars. I'm pretty high in faction wars. I like to think I'm doing pretty well. So I only need, well, for the stage that I'm on, I only need 11 more stars to get to the next stage. But as you can see, I've started working my way up in the stars. Some of the factions that don't necessarily have great epics or rares like lizard men or skinwalkers, or not very good epics or rares that I personally have, I've been struggling with a bit, but I am going to use the Hell Hades optimizer to try and build some teams that can beat all the faction wars. That was my sort of next objective once I could do 1 key Ultra Nightmare clan boss, and I would sort of like to get this done before the new faction wars comes out for the new faction, because that's just going to be a lot more work, a lot more resources that I need to spend to just do another faction wars, and I don't necessarily have the champions. I haven't had the chance to pull the champions that I need to do that. So yeah, I've been working on that, and then the next thing after that is to sort of rearrange my arena team, see if I can optimize their gear. I'm doing pretty well in arena. Arena's not really a big push for me. It's not something I prioritize. But on this account in particular, my Kale account, I don't have an optimized setup. My Deacon isn't as fast as he needs to be, so I do lose the speed race quite often, and my Arbiter isn't as fast as on my Gale account. So on my Gale account, I think she's at 306, whereas my Arb on this one is 323, so that can't be right. Well, I think I got my numbers mixed up a bit there, but yeah, she's slower on this account than she is on my other account, and I need to get her sped up a bit. So I need to start looking into my gear and trying to find the fastest gear that I have. Other than that, guys, I'm just enjoying the weekend, grinding out Minotaur, so I can get all of the go away ads. So I can get all of my champions with masteries, because as we know, masteries make up a huge part of the part of your champions and your champion damage, especially damage dealers, I would say, and some more defensive champions. I am going to try and build a Iron Twins team on my other account, but I haven't pulled Mithrala. She's still in the summoning pool, ready for a champion chase for the next fusion. So I generally, because the fusions are in line with the ×2 event, I only really use leftover fragment champions as a last resort. So as you can see, I've still got Pythian, I've got the Doom Tower champion that I'm working on. So I only pull them if I don't have enough shards, but because I save my shards for these events specifically, it's quite rare that happens, but they're always good to be there as a backup. Some people use them first before they pull their shards, but generally for Void and Ancients, I want to pull my shards. I have no need of keeping them, and if I have more than the required amount of Sacred Shards, I pull them in a ×2 event as well. So they just sit there for a while, but luckily on this account I've got 3 Pythions, so I don't necessarily need to pull him straight away. For the damage mitigation for Iron Twins, I think we might start seeing Pythian coming into these teams quite a lot. Mithrala and Withir are great for the damage mitigation and great for keeping the champions alive, but they don't specifically have a skill with damage mitigation like Pythian does. So yeah, I think I'm going to start sort of looking into him and maybe leveling one of my 3 to 60 and just test him out. On my Galek account, the best teams that I have to be able to defeat Iron Twins is an unkillable team, but I know the average speeds that you need on these unkillable teams, but I don't know them specifically, so I'm a bit reluctant to build it and waste my resources to have a team that then doesn't work. But that's all from me, guys, today. I'm just spending the weekend grinding it out, trying to raise enough resources for the next fusion, as I do every time. And yeah, I'm going to crack on with that. We do have Clan v Clan starting on Tuesday, and it's one with personal rewards. So if you're thinking of building a champion out this weekend, maybe your Pythion, maybe hold off on that until we do the Clan v Clan so you can get sort of max points. You want your clan to win, ideally, and you have to get your personal rewards. So if you're going to spend books or try and upgrade your Great Hall, I would hold off until Tuesday as a minimum, just so you get the max points in that. And then I expect the weekend after that will be the new fusion. So saving all of the resources I can. I've started building up my inbox with energy. I've only got 3 there, so hopefully there's a bit more. A bit more by the time the fusion comes around. But otherwise, guys, that's me for the weekend. Enjoying my new laptop and trying to look at some different variations and teams that I have right now. And yeah, going from there. Hopefully this video helps. Maybe it's nice to just see what my different teams are. Once I start doing the faction wars a bit more and getting into it and start beating some stages, then I'll start showing off those teams and talking about the teams that I'm using to beat those faction wars. I don't have all the legendaries in the world, so it might be interesting for some people, especially free-to-play players, to see what teams I'm using to beat those stages. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.